once again, everybody, and welcome to the Mark Richt Show, presented to you by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. Happy holidays, Happy New Year. It's Bowl week. The University of Miami back in the Orange Bowl, the 84th Orange Bowl game. Don, it's great to have the Hurricanes back in the Orange Bowl.
It certainly is, Joe. The crowd has been phenomenal all year long, every time we showed up at Hard Rock, and now to get the reward of a bowl game and it being your own Orange Bowl, nothing's better than that.
The Canes have a very worthy opponent. They're going to go up against the Wisconsin Badgers, making their first appearance ever in the Orange Bowl game. They finished the year 12-1, just outside of the Final Four.
They had an outstanding season, but they're used to big win seasons there. They've had, what, 4 10-win seasons in a row at Wisconsin. Their head coach is in his third year. He's done nothing but win. He's a former player there, as well as Coach Richt is at Miami. They put a great defense, number one in the nation on the field, and have the best freshman running back in many, many years.
They want to run the football with that freshman running back behind a huge offensive line.
Yeah, let's start with the offensive line. I mean, it's textbook. Everybody's the right size. Everybody's the right weight. And the main thing is they've redshirted so many of them. There's so much experience blended in along that offensive line. And then you throw in a freshman running that back that's trying to get for 2,000 yards in this bowl game, which would set a national record for a freshman. And that's a magical combination when you have that offensive line and a talented back.
Miami and Wisconsin at the Orange Bowl Saturday night at 8 o'clock. All right, time now for our highlights. The Hurricanes back out in the practice field, and our practice highlights brought to you by UL Sports Medicine will get you back in the game.
That ball right there is going to be the difference in winning and losing. So let's go. Start back with ball security. 1, 2, Dio's got it. Scoop, 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 and go. Go, go. Nice, nice, nice. There you go. Whoa, that's the best one all day right now.
That's better! That's better on try! Go, Curry! Go, Curry! Go! Go!
Man, sucker, and shoot it underneath, just like KC said. Shoot it underneath.
There you go. Come on, Brad. Come on. There you go. That's better. Come on. There you go.
Knock it out.
Good. Drive it. There you go. All right. Yeah.
Go!
Better move.
Hey, we got family on three, family on three. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to our show, the Mark Richt Show, brought to you by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. and, of course, University of Miami head coach Mark Richt. And Orange Bowl game is knocking on the door, Coach. It's an exciting time for the University of Miami to be in the Orange Bowl game against a great opponent.
It's been a long time since Miami's played in the Orange Bowl. We've played in Hard Rock. We've not played in the Orange Bowl Classic. And the Orange Bowl Classic, I think I've heard it's the second longest running bowl in America, and it's one of the great ones. So we're very excited about it. You know, people are saying that, oh, the guys won't get a bowl experience. That's not true at all. Getting a chance to be at a beautiful hotel on the beach and do all the great things that you get to do at a bowl. So we're having a good time.
Coach, talk about the reward of a bowl. You make sure that you prepare to win a bowl game, but also, as you mentioned, everybody's going to get the full effect of everything that goes with it.
Well, you want to have fun. You want the guys to feel like it's a reward. And we do a lot of nice things for them. We do some things for them while we're still on campus, you know, before we get to the bowl site. Because when all the students are gone and it's just us, we're allowed to do a little bit of something for them, you know, go to the movies or go to a nice restaurant or whatever it might be. Try to have some events that will make it nice for them. Then when you get to the bowl site, the Orange Bowl committee takes over and does a good job. But, you know, as a coach, I rate the bowls on whether you win or lose. You know, if you won, it was a good bowl. If you lost, it's not a good bowl. So that's kind of how I rank them.
It is the 84th edition of the Orange Bowl, so you mentioned one of the longest running bowl games and great history and tradition in South Florida. So I think this is also very good for our community, good for the university, and great synergy for both.
Right. Well, if we can come close to matching some of the nights that we had in season this year at Hard Rock, it'll be glorious. I'm looking forward to our fans showing out and showing off, and it's going to be fun.
Coach, let's stay on the fans for a moment. You know, you came in last year and you had a very good season, and then this year you go undefeated at home, and it seemed that the momentum that the fans picked up was never. I haven't seen that in many years.
Yeah, I think we fed off each other. I think we played just good enough for them to get excited, and they got excited enough to make enough noise to create issues for the other team and to encourage our players. You know, it was kind of a good marriage, and we want to stay married for a long time.
Quick review of the season, a 10-win season. Got to the ACC championship game. Didn't go your way, obviously, but still, nonetheless, a successful regular season.
It was. I mean, we actually, I guess, finished up that 15-game winning streak. We got so used to winning, you know, won 5 in a row last year and the first 10 this year, and we're thinking, man, this is pretty good. And then obviously we went to Pittsburgh and didn't take care of business there. And then obviously, you know, once we got to, you know, Charlotte, it wasn't very pretty there either. But, you know, we've had time to regroup. We've had time to get our guys that were banged up feeling better. I don't think, you know, there's certain guys we lost for the season. Obviously, they're not coming back, you know, for this bowl game. But a good many guys were just sore and tired and beat up a little bit, and got a chance to rest them up and finish up their academics, and now we're just getting ready to play this game.
Coach, I don't know how many teams a year in college football go 11 in a row like Miami had to do, but it certainly takes a wear and tear. It's more like an NFL season when you're instead of having a bye somewhere in the middle that Miami lost because of the hurricane. Yeah,
that did change the dynamic of when your open date is, and 11 in a row. It's a grind. It's a grind for anybody. We kind of limped into that last couple games really, but everybody's a little sore, you know, by mid-season or the end of the season.
Just like your overall record, you have a very good record in bowl games. Is there something that you do in the preparation for the bowl games that you think is maybe partly responsible, getting guys to peak at the right time?
For me, the bowl game practices are about winning the bowl. It's about preparing for the team you're going to play. It's not about spring ball. It's not about getting extra development time. And again, I'm not saying people that do that are wrong by any means, but most of them probably have, you know, more young guys just kind of waiting in the wings. And like I said, we're just not there yet. Our roster's not, you know, heavy enough in regard to, you know, guys that are ready to play, and guys that are, you know, you have so many playing that, you know, they're all stacked up, and your young guys don't get a chance. That's not the way it is here. We, you know, the last 2 years, freshmen have been rolling in and not only playing but starting. The same thing happened this year, and it's going to happen again. We're just not quite as stacked as I'd like to be yet, but we're getting there.
All right, it'll be the 84th Orange Bowl game, the Hurricanes and the Badgers from Hard Rock Stadium, and we'll talk about that matchup when we come back on the Mark Richt Show right after this. Happy to welcome you back to the Mark Richt Show, brought to you by Williamson Automotive, Joe Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr. Of course, University of Miami head coach Mark Richt. It'll be the Hurricanes and the Badgers in the Orange Bowl game at Hard Rock Stadium, and it's their first trip into the Orange Bowl game.
Right,
a very worthy opponent. They spent a lot of time in the Rose Bowl.
They do go to the Rose Bowl a bunch. Big, strong, physical, power football team, offensively, defensively. Very well coached, and they're, I always say it, but it's true, teams that are used to winning are hard to beat. They're hard to beat because they don't beat themselves. They're hard to beat because they tackle well, they block well, they understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, and they're well coached. They work together. I mean, it's just you know, when you watch what they did, it's really pretty spectacular. I mean, their defense #1 in America against yards per game. I think Ohio State had over 400, and maybe one team had over 300, and the rest were under 300 yards a game, which in college is just pretty much unheard of. And I think #2 in the country in scoring defense. I don't know if anybody's gotten over. I mean, Ohio State had what, 28?
27. Yeah.
27. And I don't know if anybody got over 20. There might have been another team to get in the 20s, but maybe one. I mean, their whole team is, 12, 13 points a game. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And then they got a freshman back that is just pounding people. He's almost got 2,000 yards rushing. And they're going to line up and run the power as many ways as you can run it. And a few other things off of it, but they're just going to, try to pound you and then play action pass and take some shots. And got a quarterback who's making good decisions and not throwing the ball up for grabs. They secure the ball well. They're doing a super job.
Coach, one thing that their success is relied on is their formula. You look at the number of starts or the number of games on that roster. You've got guys with 30 games, 40 games. Some guys even have been in 50 games. It seems like they bring everybody in, redshirt them, and figure out where to put them sometimes later on.
Well, I think you're kind of seeing, when that happens, if guys get that many starts, it means they've been starting as a young guy.
Right.
And I think they're kind of the tail end of a group of guys that got a chance to play early, and now they're mature and they're used to winning, and they're doing the things that it takes to become great. And then they'll roll a few out, and there'll be other guys that got playing experience, but maybe not as many starts.
It seems like they are the epitome of consistency. Like all their games look the same. Defensively, they swarm to the ball right in number 53, middle linebacker, one of the inside linebackers, Edwards, is a guy that makes a lot of plays for them.
Well, he does, and a lot of it has to do with the guys up front. They're eating up double teams and keeping guys from coming off on him. And, it's a tribute to what their front is doing. I guess I keep using the word powerful. They're a strong team. They can get their hands on you and shake you, shake a block off and go make a play. They got speed on the perimeter where you need it the most with some of the wide receivers that they've been trying to cover throughout the year. They do a super job of that. They got a lot of confidence to play a lot of man coverage, and which allows more defenders to stop the run. It's a simple formula of speed, power, great tackling, and great scheme.
Coach, let's go to their offensively. Their quarterback has been efficient in the point where he's able to convert a lot of third downs, but they've got a great tight end, and as you mentioned earlier, a back that's pushing for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, it's I don't know if there is a typical Big Ten offensive team, but you think of Big Ten football as a team that is big, and they're into kind of facing the issue. They're into physically pounding you and wearing you down, just giving you body shots all day long until something breaks big, especially in the run game. And like you said, the quarterback's been very, very efficient. They get their third down conversions at a high rate. They're moving the ball a good bit, and it's helping their defense too. Their defense is only averaging about 60 plays a game, and that's more like what an NFL team has with a shortened game compared to college. I mean, a lot of teams are playing 80 plays a game on average. They're playing 60 plays a game because they're getting off the field. They're stopping people on third down. They're doing great defensively, but their offense is chewing up clock and keeping the defense off the field.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about the Hurricanes passing game.
That's right.
The Canes in Wisconsin. We'll talk about the Miami passing game when we come back right after this. Welcome back to the Mark Richt Show, brought to you by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., University of Miami head coach Mark Richt, Miami and Wisconsin on December 30th at the Orange Bowl game inside of Hard Rock Stadium. That's a good ring to it, a home field advantage, right?
Absolutely. We love Hard Rock, I can tell you that. I mean, the stadium is so awesome. I mean, when you watch TV copy and you see that shot they bring from the top, that's amazing. Or even like at night, you'll drive by there and they'll have it all lit up, and they can have different colors. you know, on the big spikes that go up in the air and everything. And then you get in there, and I think at one time people were trying to use the stadium against us. I mean, that was one of the big things when I first took the job. Oh, you don't have an on-campus stadium, and oh, you got blah, blah, blah. But then the guys that have come in lately, our opponents, they're like, oh, my goodness. I mean, you know, even Coach Kelly from Notre Dame's like, look at all these TV screens. I mean, in the pregame, he's like, yeah, I think my guys are going to be looking at the screens all day. But and then the noise, the sound, the canopy, you know, accentuates our fans' noise, and it is so loud. We have to use a nonverbal cadence on offense because it's just going crazy. Plus, when everybody keeps cheering for the turnover chain, that doesn't help either. We're trying to hear our own signals, and the fans are going nuts, but it's all fun. It's all good.
Coach, when you're back to preparing for this game and conditioning-wise, there's a couple weeks that you gave the guys off, but I don't think you stopped conditioning, and then you pick it up again to get back in that game shape.
Yeah, you got to get in football shape again, but Gus Felder, our strength coach, and the staff, they were running them, lifting them for the 2 weeks that we were on the road recruiting. And we did play an extra game. So like last year, we had 3 weeks in a row of recruiting, basically. This season we only had 2 weeks. But while we were gone, you know, the guys were working hard on academics. They were getting treatment. They were running. They were lifting. Now, like you say, they didn't have the pads on, you know, and it does take a little bit. It's a different kind of shape when you put your pads on. But we got basically 2 weeks to get ready. We'll have 8 practices, at least 6 of them in full pads, so it'll help us.
You mentioned how tough the Wisconsin defense is. How do you move the ball consistently with them? How do you get Malik back to being consistent and just getting completions in the game?
Yeah, well, you get open and you protect and you put it on the money and you catch it. I mean, it's pretty simple. You know, sometimes it looks harder than it is, but you know, when you pass protect, you know, normally you put enough pressure on a defender where he can't get his hands up. If he gets his hands up, you try to dump him. You know, Don knows. The guy starts trying to bat balls down. That's when you got to accelerate your feet and try to, you know, put him on his back, basically. And so we got to do a good job of that. We got to create, you know, space, you know, for the quarterback to have throwing lanes, and just time and space is what the quarterback needs. Then we got to get off that man coverage. You got to get guys that get open. And when they get open, they got to make the play. And you know, but you got to put the ball in play to make a play. So everybody's just got to do their job. And we had a couple rough games. We got to get better.
You had a great season, a 10-win season. I always say if you win 10 games, you're in college football today. You're playing for something. Probably playing for a conference championship, a Final Four appearance, bowl game. That's right where you have this program right now, and it's only the 2nd year of your building.
Yeah, we're getting there, and I mean, we have a chance. If we win this game, we'll finish in the top 10. Right. That's great. You know, a year ago, we finished in the top 25 for the first time in a while, and then if we can get this one, we can finish in the top 10 for the first time in a while. Getting 11-game wins, you know, winning another bowl game, and just, you know, obviously winning the Orange Bowl. That's a tremendous accomplishment. Just to get there is quite an accomplishment. So, you know, really proud of the guys, and we know we're not done yet, and, you know, we remember the last 2 more than we remember the 10, okay? So
or 15. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to get that taste out of our mouth and let our seniors leave with a smile on their face with a victory.
All right, well, it's been a lot of fun. Really a great season, and the very best of luck in the Orange Bowl game, and Happy New Year.
All right, guys. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah.
All right. For University of Miami head coach Mark Richt and Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next time right here on The Mark Richt Show. So long, everyone.